Hello and welcome back to the channel. My name is Mark and this is my 1961 Morris Minor Traveller. In this video I am going to be fitting a USB charge port. It's got two USB ports in it and also an accessory outlet as well. Now this particular outlet device is unbranded and I think I purchased it off of eBay. Now obviously it's a modern looking thing, so I want to try and tuck it away out of sight in the car, but easily accessible. So for that I thought I would have a look underneath the shelf, the metal shelf that forms part of the base of the dashboard. Now I don't want to drill any additional holes, so I have come up with a bracket that will fit the left hand side or the right hand side of the car. Now originally I was going to put it on the driver's side, but in hindsight I thought if I've got my phone that I'm using as the sat nav and a cable coming across, it's going to be draped over the steering wheel and it's just going to get in the way. So I'm now going to put it on the left hand side in front of the passenger seat, and that way it's still accessible and the cables will be out of the way. So first thing to do is mount this onto the bracket that I've made. So the bracket I have created has got the curve for the big hole that's underneath the underside of the dashboard, and then these two mounting points will be at the front with one at the back as well. Now the upstands I've put on here slightly higher this at the front, slightly lower at the back, just so it sits away from the metal, but also at a slight angle, bringing the front slightly lower. This point here, the bracket for our USB is going to sit between this one and this one. This will be the underside that you don't see, and that's how it should sit. And then the USB will sit at a slight angle, which should bring it fairly straight at the front of the car. Now the holes that are in the car are the same, both left and right. So I've got an opposite bracket here. So this one could fit the driver's side. This one would be the passenger side on a right-hand drive car. I've left a hole in the middle here just to run the cables that are coming out of here. They're going to tuck in behind just to try and keep it as neat as possible. And then assembled, it's going to look like that. So this one screw here is an M3 screw, and that is purely just holding this in place. The other three, which are going to secure the whole bracket in place, and the other side of the USB accessory, I've designed for M4 screws, and they will be secured to the car with these clips. On the underside of the shelf, standard is some existing holes. So I wanted to make use of those holes rather than drilling any new ones. This car has several perforations in it already. I didn't really want to add to them. So I've decided to use 1, 2, 3 to bring my bracket into this location. Now to wiring any kind of accessory, we need to run a live and an earth. The live has got to come from the fuses. So we've got these two fuses here. Power comes in from the left and out to the right. The top ones is a permanent feed, so it's a constant feed whether the ignition is on or off, and the bottom one is only given power when the ignition is turned on. It's this one that I'm going to power up my accessory to, just so I don't leave things plugged in and it drains the battery. So I'm going to make a connection in to here. Now before you do any work on the electrics on the car, always make sure you disconnect the battery. So now I'm going to start feeding my new power cable. Now I'm using an existing hole that was in the bulkhead. I've just put a new grommet and just made a tiny hole in the middle of it. So if you can, try and use an existing hole rather than creating a new one. I'm using 5 amp cable, and I'm just going to start pushing it through into the cabin, which I can then locate inside and just pull a little bit of wire through to give me sufficient length. Now obviously I'm working in a small area here, so apologies if the camera angle is not great. It's difficult to get a camera in there, but that's my cable coming through right the way up there. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to feed it up and across the back here, the back of the heater, and then I'm going to bring it down over the other side where my accessory outlet is going to be. And actually, without too much difficulty, I've managed to feed that through to the passenger side. So that is now our live feed cable fed through the car. For my earth cable, I have run a shorter cable coming through where the wiring loom comes through from the engine bay. Then it comes out wire that comes out of the bulkhead and follows the existing wiring loom down to the fuel pump, where we've got an earth cable that comes up, links in here, and then round to the connection point alongside the battery. And I'm going to connect mine to this point. So I've now put some connectors on my cables. That's the earth running through and then the live running through. So I can now place that bracket where it's going to go. Then I can tidy up the wires and then connect them the other end. So now with the new end made off, I've now put that to the same bolt that's holding on the petrol pump. And that cable now follows a similar route to the existing earth. I've put a little bit of electrical tape around here just to keep it in place. I'm going to do the same down here as well. And with our new cable coming in and round and clamped behind the screw there, and I'll put a little bit of dielectric grease in there as well, just to make sure that it keeps the moisture out. So before I reconnect the battery, I'm just going to test that we've got a good circuit. And we have. Now with the last little bit of tidying up, I think we are done. The bracket is nice and secure. The cable is clamped in underneath there, and it runs around nice and neat behind. And then from inside the car, you wouldn't even know it was there. Okay, so moment of truth. Let's get the ignition on. And we've got the telltale blue LED indicator. So it looks as though power is there. I'm now going to plug. We'll get it in the right way. Not the right way. Oh, there you go. Plug that in, and this is my work light. I don't know if it's coming up on camera, but it's charging, which is great. Well, that's it. We're all in and done and tested, and everything is working fine. All I've got to do now is a little tidy up and a clean up, and we're good to go. Now, I did all of that with the parcel shelf and the glove box in situ, but I like making life difficult for myself. So if you are thinking of doing something similar, popping the glove box out and dropping the parcel shelf will certainly give you a lot more access. Now, I've managed to install all of this now without drilling any extra holes, which is great because my car has many holes that shouldn't be there, so I didn't want to add any more to it. And it's all thanks to this bracket, so I'm really, really pleased with it. Now, if you're in the market for something similar and would like one of these brackets, please do drop me a DM in Instagram. It's probably the easiest way. Work in progress 1098, and I'll see if I can get one out. Like I say, I can do both the right hand and the left hand side, and it's using the holes that are pretty standard to the minor dashboard, so should be a nice easy install. Anyway, hope you enjoyed the video. Thanks for watching, and until next time, cheerio.